Hi there, welcome to Island Fly Tarot. I'm going to do a tarot card reading for Virgo energy, and we're going to read it from a couple different perspectives because people have free will. Some people harness high vibe Virgo energy, some people harness a more worldly focused Virgo energy, and some people harness a more shadowy Virgo energy. And we all tap into Virgo energy, so listen to your intuition about where you're at in the story, where some other people are at in the story. And Virgo energy can have to do with what our long-term goals are and what drives and motivates us. Is it more about us or ego or image? Are we more focused right now on stability and security in our life and not focusing so much on love? Are some of the people in our life never going to focus on love and they're always going to be more about themselves or ego or image or money or indulgence? And ultimately, High Vibe Virgo is about have people learn lessons in life of being free from some of the things that manipulate them, to work cooperatively with people in a more just and fair and emotionally mature manner, or haven't they? And we all like to be in relationships with people who've learned some of the lessons that we've learned. You know, if we're not being bossy and controlling, we don't want to be in relationships with people who are still being, say, bossy and controlling, if that was their thing, or immature and impulsive, or lazy and indulgent, you know. We want to be in relationships with people who've learned some of the same lessons that we've learned. Okay, the overarching reason for the reading is planning and action and healing light. And underneath that is behind a mask. Some people just try to make themselves look like they harness high vibe Virgo energy. So other people who really do, who are more nurturing, loving, warm, authentic, mature, will be in a relationship with them. But they're operating from their ego nature. It's more like a strategy. And we've probably dealt with people who are like that. They present themselves as being something other than they really are. And high vibe people offer people, like, treat people with love and respect, but they listen to their intuition to see the truth. Who is operating from their ego and who has offered love, like, to their more worldly egoic nature to free themselves, you know? And it can cause us some inner conflict. It can cause some of those other people inner conflict. Some people might wonder about you if you're being authentic or if you're creating an illusion, you know, and then we can go back and forth because there could be people in our life that we'd like to have move forward with us in a relationship, but we're not sure, or maybe they keep going back and forth. You know, what are people's hidden motivations? If we feel like people before weren't telling us the truth, or that they're being deceptive and manipulative, or they were not telling the truth before, or they were deceptive and manipulative, do we really think that they have learned the lesson they were meant to learn from that? And then we have the Ascended Masters, Stuck Energy, Increase, and Great Achievement, and the Vast Universe. You know, we look at life from a higher perspective. We have to work through, you know, we all have this dualistic nature. We all have to battle within ourselves. Do we have hope and faith and belief in love? Do other people have hope and faith and belief in love? What drives and motivates people? What is their truth? What is my truth? We come in contact with all these different people to help us get clear about our truth. And we have a lot of cards not showing themselves, which can be that some people are doing work within themselves to free themselves from their inner conflict and some of their fears and their insecurities, to be operating from a foundation of love. Other people reject doing that. And again, they just have this idea that I'll present myself as this just and fair and stable and grounded and mature person, and hope they hide that they reject harnessing those energies in a high vibe way. And they're just in the present power. The masculine figures in tarot can represent how people are presenting themselves in the world. The feminine figures can represent how they really feel. And some people in their ego nature, operating more from their ego mind. I have an idea. I have a plan. I'm going to try to maybe take action to have a new beginning. I'm going to keep operating from my emotionally defensive, egoic nature or self-interested nature. I'm going to not be authentic. And other people are going to step up in their own life, male or female. They're going to take action to heal, to be authentically themselves. They're going to do this work within themselves about, why do I not be more authentically myself? Why do I let my fears or my insecurities or my pride or my ego or my more immature, lazy, indulgent nature run my life? And some people are inspired. You have to initially be inspired to even want to work through those issues. Virgo energy is earth sign energy. It takes time, energy, and effort if we want to free ourselves from our more defensive, immature, worldly, egotistical, selfish, materialistic nature. To become a more enlightened human being who realizes that the truth is, it was meant to be about love. I'm an emotionally complex human being. I have emotional needs. I have creativity, imagination, a passionate nature. Am I going to disregard that aspect of myself just to make my life about having these things of the world, or to indulge in these things of the world, or to be indulged out of my fear? People have to indulge me? Or am I willing to indulge someone else for those things of the world? Am I willing to heal, to free myself, to go live my authentic life, to deal with my own ego nature that kind of keeps me imprisoned, repeating an old pattern where I don't face my fears to become all I can be in the world? And we have different types of people in the world, and we just need to figure out who's who. And part of that is learning to listen to your intuition. Because in our more worldly nature, we can all want new beginnings. We can all want to be in relationships. We can all want to have a job, have friendships, all these things. Are we going to disregard our intuition? Well, if we keep making decisions more out of fear, insecurity, pride, and ego, it's probably not going to work out the way we think, because we have some lessons to learn. And as time goes by, we'll be illuminated to the truth that, oh, when I take action more out of pride or ego or fear or insecurity or codependency, I'm kind of operating from my more ego nature. And it probably doesn't work out the way I want, because I end up being in relationships with other people, who are on the same page as me at the same time. And we're both kind of living our life like that. And if I've already been in relationships with people who maybe are defensive or superficial or shallow or don't want to grow or heal or mature themselves, I have to work through why do I keep giving in to my worldly nature to be in relationships with people like that? Am I going to see why I have been drawn and attracted to certain people, what lessons I've learned? High vibe energy is about learning lessons. Virgo nature within all of us is the aspect of ourself that goes within to deal with the truth, to look at the things we'd rather keep hidden in the dark. And to see that some people live in the dark. They are not who they present themselves as being, or they are more aligned with not giving birth to anything new. They have this way of viewing life, and they want to keep moving forward in that way of life because they don't want to look at those issues within themselves to free themselves from it. So what's going on in Virgo energy? The sacred temple, so it's sideways. And the reason is because of joyous fun. Are we going to walk the talk? Are we going to get out of our more indulgent ego nature and be like a good leader within our own life? It's kind of like we have We have our like inner child nature. We have our more immature worldly nature. We have our more hopeful, believing inner child nature. Are we going to be like our own best mother, father, coach voice to our head? The present power kind of reminds me of Leo Aries energy. The light card reminds me of Leo energy. Are we going to choose to love ourselves? Or shadowy energy can also be more being a more codependent energy. Am I going to learn to love myself, to set myself free from the things that manipulate me, that prevent me from being authentically myself in the world? If we've been feeling like we present ourselves a certain way in the world, but emotionally we're hiding our truth of who we really are, well, that causes inner conflict within us, right? I mean, we can all have fears, insecurities, self-limiting beliefs. It's not like we gotta blast that to everybody when we meet them, like, oh, I try to present myself as more confident than I am, but I got these fears. We all have fears and insecurities and some self-limiting beliefs at any given moment in time. We can't rid ourselves of our more worldly nature, and that's just part of being a human being. We do have some fears and insecurities and self-limiting beliefs at any given time, and some people know that. Some people like to stay in denial that they even have a shadow nature. And that's how they could live life. They harness their Aries Leo energy more like, I'm going to present myself in the world like I'm the stable, grounded, emotionally mature person. I don't even have a shadow nature. And that's could be how they view life. Everybody's supposed to pretend that they don't even have a shadow nature. Some people think they're supposed to present themselves as perfect, and they're supposed to be like a perfect person who doesn't have a shadow nature. Well, everybody can live in fantasy land if they want, but the truth is, a little more emotionally mature people realize they have their own shadow nature to deal with. They know that other people have a shadowy nature that they have to kind of like self-discipline. That's high vibe Aries and high vibe Leo. I acknowledge I have my more, I'd like things my way. I'd rather have everything given to me and me not have to put any work and effort into having it. Wow, wouldn't that be great? All about me. Everybody indulges me, and I don't even have to, I can be whatever way I want in the world. Or all I have to do is wear this false mask. And people are supposed to view me as this picture perfect person that they want to be in a relationship with. And that is how some people live their life, or view life. Some people are very egotistical and self-centered, harnessing shadowy Virgo, Aries, Leo energy. I'm full of myself. Look at me. I'm putting in this work and effort to have something of the world that I think people would want to be in a relationship with me for. I could be attractive. I could be charming. I could have social clout. I could be victorious and successful. I work on my body. Whatever people got. Shadowy, more worldly people could define their worth and value based on what they've got. And then, because they've got those things, they could think, I put in work and effort to look like I'm this certain type of person, have this certain type of status or image, or whatever those other traits and characteristics or assets I might have. And because I have that, people should want to be in a relationship with me. High vibe people have some of those same traits, characteristics, assets, but they're not using those things. That isn't, those might be things that they're happy about and they're proud about that they've accomplished, but that's not how they define their worth and value. They know there's so much more than that. I'm a creative, inspired, intuitive, loving person who acts with character and integrity. Those other traits and characteristics and assets that I have are just things that I have. But what really makes me someone that people should want to be in a relationship with is that I am this loving, warm, nurturing, supportive, authentic person who has worked through my own shadowy nature, who doesn't try to use these things of the world that I might have to try to manipulate other people to be in a relationship with me. And I've also offered love to my egoic nature to work through some of my fears and my insecurities to grow up and mature myself and in High Vibe Virgo, learn a lot of life lessons that I really am who I say I am in the world. I really am someone who's learned lessons in life. I have worked through some of my fears, my insecurities, my prideful, egotistical, immature, worldly, being full of myself because of these traits or assets that I have. And I really am who I present myself to be. And I treat other people, because I've learned these lessons, with love and respect and how I like to be treated. And I really am who I say I am. If I want to be in a relationship, I want to be in a relationship with people because that I feel those people are on the same page as me. They're loving, they're warm. They've also are stable and grounded in their Virgo energy and have learned some of the same lessons I've learned. And they've seen through some of the illusion and the fears and insecurities to grow and mature themselves. So it's kind of like we all have lessons learned in life. In tarot, we have like the pages, and we have the knights, then we have the kings and the queens, then we have like the emperor and empress. And in High Vibe, that's what this energy would be. They're saying, I'm not a page. I'm not immature. I'm not in codependent energy. I'm not a knight. I'm not just, working in one or two or three areas of my life. High Vibe energy is I have went and learned all these lessons. I could have driven my life off into the ditch in all sorts of ways, but I learned the lessons I was meant to learn. I found out how far was too far, letting my heart run my life, letting my mind run my life, letting my defensive nature run my life, letting my passionate lustful nature run my life, letting my worldly nature and being consumed with indulging in things of the world or making my worth and value about the world. I have learned all these lessons, and from that, I learned that I have to love myself. Love is what unifies all these different aspects of ourself, and being a good leader in our life and a mature person, we can love people, and it's like, yeah, I don't let just my heart run my life. I have these other three aspects of myself that if I just let my heart run my life, the other three aspects of my life could go in the toilet. If I let my mind and my defensive nature and doing what practical and logical, the other aspects of my life kind of get disregarded. All these aspects of myself are important, and I have to be a good manager in my life to make decisions taking all aspects of myself into consideration. The world and ego and image or money and indulgence or whatever isn't more important than loving and believing in myself and believing in my dreams. My loving nature isn't more important than what's logical and practical and stable and grounded. I have to take all these things. It's like being a leader of your kingdom of self and all these different aspects of yourself. And at one time, we were just we're perpetually learning lessons. And we had lessons to learn in all these different areas. Some people have learned those lessons. And the High Vibe people have learned, which I think is the hardest lesson to learn, is I had to go off on all these journeys in life to learn all these lessons in my more immature, codependent nature, maybe, and these lessons I needed to learn. And I needed to learn to love myself so that I could authentically be myself in the world. Not letting my shadow nature drive my life. I put my shadow nature in the back seat, and my more loving, hopeful, believing nature is what drives my life. And my shadow nature can yap in my ear from the back seat about all the things of the world that we want to do and blah, blah, blah. And we say, yes, we are going to work to have those things, but we're going to do those things in an emotionally mature, stable, grounded, loving way, in truth and love for ourselves and for others, because if we don't, we've already seen what happens, and we don't want to keep driving our life off into the ditch. We have learned these lessons in life. Life is supposed to be an adventure, And, we go through life and things don't turn out the way we want. And the whole thing is, we were drawn and attracted to certain people because we had valuable life lessons to learn from them. A lot of people can seem to be like they want the same things that we want in life, and we could think that we operate motivated and inspired by the same things. And for a lot of things we could, but when it gets down to a core foundational level of, are we ready to go to the next level? Are you motivated and inspired to keep dealing with your fears and your insecurities and your self-limiting beliefs and shed some old layers of yourself so that we can keep growing to our full potential? Kind of like those nesting dolls over there. We have layers and layers of our worldly nature, our prideful nature, our ego nature, our selfish nature, these ideas of how we view relationships. Are we willing to keep growing and maturing ourselves and dealing with those issues that bubble up within us to keep being willing to look at those issues? Because if we don't, we can be in relationships with people. We could like to stay in relationships with people, but there's something at a core foundational level that some people don't want to deal with. And it could be the core foundational thing of, if I move forward in this way, I do have to align with my more hopeful, believing nature in love. And there could be something about me that makes me kind of align more with my defensive nature, or this illusion that I had in relationships that I was going to try to control things or operate a little more from my defensive nature or self-interest nature or materialistic nature. And that can be sometimes when a relationship ends, because at some core foundational level, there's something people would have to deal with that stops them from kind of stepping out of their comfort zone to be free. High vibe energy is about being free, being independent of your more worldly, egoic, defensive nature, to be willing to give birth to something new where you're letting love and intuition guide you. And a relationship and a friendship and a workplace could have been great for a really long time, decades even. But when it gets to be where at a core foundational level we have to deal with something, and it could be just being more authentically themselves, vulnerable. And some people can work together with people, relationships can be good for a long time, but it could be that at a core foundational level, I don't let my more hopeful, believing nature out to play in the world. I can get along with people in a lot of ways and work with people in a lot of ways. But when it really comes to having hope and faith and belief and love, where I would have to remove the mask of, and maybe even just being, well, if you're defensive of being more authentically yourself in the world, in shadowy Aries Leo energy, it is kind of thinking that you can and have a want to control things in a relationship without really having to be more authentically yourself because you're defensive of yourself being hurt. And that's when there's kind of a lack of hope and faith and, in other people, but maybe in themselves, that if it didn't work out, that they could pick themselves back up again. High vibe energy offers people truth and love to free themselves from their more immature worldly nature, to be authentically themselves, to shine their light in the world. And then loving people in the world and in our life offer truth and love and lessons that they've learned in life to other people to help them work through their fears and insecurities and their illusions and to try to free themselves. And people do that through movies and books and music. And then, we could know some of those people, but it's like life-giving energy represented by God uses all these ways to try to help people learn to love and believe in themselves and believe in their dreams, and to not live a fake life, not settle for the illusion, not to make, because the whole thing is, I think life's about learning lessons, which is what Virgo energy is about. We're meant to go on this adventure to learn these lessons. We will be drawn and attracted to people. We have valuable life lessons to learn from them. Things we didn't realize about people. Oh, I thought if I got in a relationship with people and I was loving and nurturing and supportive, of course they'd do love. And then we find out, no, they won't. We get in relationships with people and we find out, oh, some people, people who are loving is kind of like, their cup runs over. They freely can give people love because they've learned how to love themselves and replenish themselves, and they have this hopeful, believing nature, and they can be drawn and attracted to people in their more worldly nature, and they think those people are going to live their life like that, and then we find out that they are kind of more about themselves or their defensive nature. Could have really enjoyed being in the relationship for a long time because it's great to be in a relationship with someone who's loving and warm and nurturing, but they're kind of defensive to being that type of person themselves. And right now there could be some people in the world that are watching some high vibe people in their life who are moving forward in life, offering love to themselves to work through their own fears and self-limiting beliefs to move forward in life. And some of those other people, though, maybe aren't willing, in Virgo, shadowy Virgo energy can be where we could be hiding. We're more about ourselves, more about our ego, more about our image, more about indulging ourselves, our defensive nature. And in order to move forward, they would have to bring something into the light, illuminate something that was hidden. And for some people, they're not willing to do that. The truth sets us free. It's kind of like the light sets us free. Bringing the things that we haven't wanted to deal with, bringing them up into the light, and bringing them up into the light is kind of offering love and compassion and forgiveness to those things. We're all fallible human beings. We've all made mistakes. Life is about learning lessons. We're going to make mistakes. Some people, though, pride comes before the fall. Some people could have made some mistakes, but they didn't want to admit it. Some of these people like to be viewed as like this picture-perfect person or something. They could have been immature like we all have. They could have been indulgent like we all have been. They could have had fears and insecurities like the rest of us. They could have had some growing up to do. Have they seen the truth of it? That, wow, didn't turn out the way I thought. Some people aren't willing to be in a relationship with some people because you did see the truth about them. And they're unwilling to illuminate it. So they're going to stay right here defending how they're living their life. And some people are immature. Some people are prideful and egotistical and all about themselves and like to be bossy and controlling in relationships or be all about themselves. Or wanting to look like a boss in the world. I want the ego and the image and the status. Who can I get in a relationship with? If I'd stayed in a relationship with these people, I would have probably had a more balanced life and a loving life and nurturing life. But I was hiding the fact that I really am more about ego and image and money or power or influence or being indulged. And if I move forward with those people, I'd have to do this inner work. I didn't want to do that work. I decided to make my life more about looking like, I think I can get what I want living my life this way. Or I think these things will make me happy. And some of those people are going to go on this journey of life. There's a key on either mirror because nothing's wasted. We're going to learn lessons no matter what. I think eventually the people that are trying to control things, or they're bossy, or they're controlling, or they're egotistical, or they're manipulative, trying to have a certain image or status or something, I think as time goes by, these people will be illuminated to the truth that if they're aligning with their more something in their more worldly, shadowy nature, they're going to be in relationship with people that are happy that they are. Or the same situation is going to repeat where, because some shadowy, more worldly focused people about looking like they have a certain status or image, or they have what other people have in the world that are loving, keep trying to manipulate loving people. And if they go try to manipulate a loving person, eventually the loving person's going to offer them love and encouragement, and we're going to get to the same spot of that core issue that they need to deal with. And the other people are going to listen to their intuition. It's like, my dream's not going to come into reality with you, is it? Because there's something that holds you back from being more authentically yourself, open and hopeful and believing and loving. And I don't want to be in a relationship with someone who's hiding behind their defensive egoic nature. It's kind of like one person being authentic and one person kind of being like a fake person. I let my ego run my life. My more authentic nature looks out through the eyeballs. And so then you kind of realize you're in a relationship with someone who is kind of like trying to indulge in a relationship without them really being that type of person themselves. And high vibe people want to be in relationships with other high vibe people. Not people who are creating an illusion or because it works for them, it's good for their ego and image, it's great to be in a relationship with you. It's like, yes, and I want to be in a relationship with someone who's loving and nurturing and warm and authentic with me. Not someone who's wearing a false mask. So if they keep trying to get in relationships with people, trying to present themselves as being more emotionally mature and open and loving to bringing that dream into reality, eventually the people realize the dream isn't going to come into reality. And those people, like, make them one last offer. Are you willing to move forward with me in this way? And if those people say no, some people right now are illuminated to the truth of it. And for some people, that's the last day that they're going to keep. How long are we going to keep pouring into someone who doesn't make the free will choice to do this work within themselves to align with having some hope and faith and belief and love? Who keeps wanting it to be more about them? Who wants to keep being bossy and controlling? Who is still more motivated by their ego and their image or something, or being indulged? And eventually people see the truth of it. And they offer them truth and love. And that's when, friendship or relationship can end. Because the other people are unwilling to illuminate something. Let's ask, what could be something that some people are unwilling to illuminate? Okay, it has to do with these three cards. And the reason is because of the Three of Pentacles. The Three of Pentacles can be the foundation that we operate from in the world, because the Three of Pentacles is Pentacles, which has to do with the 3D world. And we all operate from a certain foundation that we build our life upon. And because we live in a world of duality, and because we have free will choice, it's either operating from a foundation of hope and faith and belief and love, and I've decided that that is the foundation I'm going to align with, that I believe I can manifest my dreams into reality, or I've made the free will choice to make my life that I'm going to work with things of the world. That's what I think I should work with. Not really love and intuition to guide me, because I maybe don't believe I can manifest my dreams into reality that way, or the things that drive and motivate me. And if I'm more motivated by the world, I want to work with things of the world. And for some people, they maybe don't believe there's any higher truth or justice to aspire to. And some people are really consumed with the world. It's whatever the world says is the truth. If the world told me tomorrow I should sit in my front yard surrounded by apples and bananas and sit out there and eat apples and bananas all day, that's what shows you really got it going on, they'd be sitting out in their front yard eating apples and bananas all day. Some people are so caught up in the illusion, so in their ego and competitive nature with the world, they're completely blinded to the truth. They've made some of the things of the world or their addictions so important to them, their judgment is completely clouded. But anyway, it could have to do with the foundation that they operate from. And I think that they reject harnessing these energies in a high vibe way. That's why they're turned away. And what they're trying to hide is that they do align with these energies in a more shadowy way, but they also maybe don't want to see the truth of it. Or they do know it, and they don't want other people to see the truth of it. The Two of Cups, the King of Pentacles, the Five of Swords. So the fives in tarot can talk about change. For one thing, they reject aligning with a foundation of love, because that would mean the Knight of Pentacles in Virgo energy becomes the King of Pentacles. If we were to learn lessons in life and work through our fears and insecurities, the Knight of Pentacles becomes the King of Pentacles. We would learn lessons in life. We would grow and mature and heal ourselves. And we would change. We would look at life differently because, when we were age 15, going to 18, going to 21, going to 25, we had to detach from an old way of viewing life, face our fears and insecurities, look at some old ways of viewing life and living life that we should let go of because they were kind of immature. And then we go to the next phase of life. We face our fears at that next phase of life. We believe in ourselves. We put in work and effort to function at that new phase of life, even though we do have mental conflict about change. But we are inspired to face our fears, to become all that we can be. And it does require that we let go of an old way of viewing life and things that we used to love and things that we used to like to invest our time, energy, and effort into. Because if we don't want to keep staying like a 15-year-old, we have to detach from some of those old ways of living life and viewing life and look at life from a higher perspective. The Five of Swords is Aquarius energy, represented by the Star card of looking at life from a higher perspective. And we'd have High Vibe Aquarius is about healing and growing and maturing. And, it's not just about us, and it's not just about the world, and it's not just about these things that we want to indulge in. If we really want to be in relationships with people where people work cooperatively with us, we should grow and mature ourselves and keep focused on the bigger picture where everybody kind of puts aside some of their pride and ego to work cooperatively to bring a dream into reality. But that's not how some people view it. And they reject viewing life from that perspective because it would require them to change. They want these things of the world. They want to be in relationships with people. They want people to employ them and work together with them and go into business with them. But they kind of have a mental conflict about seeing the truth. Well, I can't just go be in it, maybe because of these things that I have of the world, these certain traits, qualities, characteristics, or it's not just all about me. And some people are egotistical and self-centered, and they think people should just want to work with them in a relationship because they have these certain traits, characteristics, or they're stable, or they're grounded, or they have money, or they're attractive, or whatever the hell they got. And that could be the truth of how they viewed life. If I have these certain traits, characteristics, people are supposed to want to be in a relationship, and because they value those things that I bring, they're supposed to kind of indulge me in a relationship. And for all of us, even the loving people could think, because I'm a loving person and I'm nurturing and I'm mature and I'm stable and I'm grounded, other people are supposed to change. And we need to get out of that illusion. We shouldn't require people to change. People have the free will to live their life whatever way they want, and we should see the truth of it. When we meet people who might be immature, bossy, controlling, prideful, egotistical, immature, whatever, we see the truth of it. Oh, I'm not going to take you on as a work project anymore. I've been there and done that. I'm done trying to change people. And for some of these people, that's what they're hiding. They could have had loving, nurturing, mature people in their life, but those people did want them to change, and they weren't willing to, because that's not the truth of the foundation they operate from. But they don't want people to know that they've already had loving, nurturing people in their life who look at life from a higher perspective, and those people eventually left, and they were willing to let those people leave because they're not willing to change. And we shouldn't expect people to change. People have already went through their life debating how they're going to live their life along the path of life, just like we did. And the high vibe people came out over here. I have hope and faith and belief in love. When the other people were going through life, they came out free willingly deciding, I'm going to live my life like this. And when we see people and have been illuminated to the truth about these things, that we can't change people. We can offer people love and encouragement and support. That's good. To love and believe in themselves, to work through their fears and their insecurities, or their ego, or their defensive nature, or their prideful nature, their immature nature. But they have to make that free will choice themselves. And we all could have gotten in relationships with people thinking people would change. And some high vibe people left because why do I do this? We can all repeat patterns of ways of being in a relationship. How many times have people tried to change other people? And we see the light, like, oh my gosh. That's kind of us also being in our ego, kind of like our God Savior complex. You know what? From now on, when I see people seem to be very defensive, people seem to be immatures, people seem to have addictions, people seem to be caught up in their ego or self-centeredness, or have these shadowy traits and characteristics like, ooh, whoa, 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 yeah. Peace, love, and joy to you. Nice seeing you out. Nice visiting with you. Glad your day's going well. And yeah, I'm going to keep my distance from you. No, I'm not going to get in a relationship with you. No, I'm not going to date you. No, I'm not going to marry you. No, I'm not going to hang out with you any more than I presently do. And I might start hanging out with you less. Because I've been illuminated to the truth. Everybody has to be motivated and inspired to free themselves from the things that manipulate them, to be open to giving and receiving love. And if they're not on that page, then I wish them peace, love, and joy, and I'm not going to be in a relationship, an involved relationship with them. There's someone I know as an acquaintance in the world. The people I do want to take action towards, now that I've been illuminated to the truth and got out of my own ego, and I got out of my own pattern, and I've changed, and I've healed and grown and matured in some ways and looked at life from a higher perspective, I need to invest my time, energy, and effort into people who are on the same page as me. That's how my dreams can come into reality. And some of you have already done that, and you did take action to communicate with some people in the world that this is the lessons I've learned, this is how I'm moving forward, basically implying that you think there's someone who's kind of on the same page as you. Some of those people are looking at you just like you're looking at them, maybe energetically, if not in person. You could be wondering if they are going to love and believe in themselves to deal with their own ways that they viewed life, ways they viewed relationships, their philosophies of life, what they align with, to illuminate the truth, to deal with the truth, to deal with the issues within them that could stop them from moving forward with you in this way. To heal, grow, mature themselves in whatever way they might need to detach from being aligned with their more worldly nature, being in relationships with people who are more aligned with their worldly view of life, that you think could be causing them some mental conflict, because you could feel like that's not the truth of who they are. But we can all, it's just like, like parents with teenagers or young adults, where you can tell them, honey, why are you doing that? Why are you hanging out with these certain people? Why don't you love and believe in yourself? You have so many blah, 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 So people can be loving, but everybody can get caught up in the illusion. Everybody can get caught up in mismatched situations, jobs, friendships, and relationships. And I think, with loving people, it can cause them a lot of mental conflict, because they are in relationships or friendships or whatever, or living their life in a way that really isn't aligned with their truth. But they could stay in it because of their fears and their insecurities, or their codependency, or their want for stability and security. Like, well, I have this job, I'm afraid to go get a different job. Love and believe in yourself. So the whole thing is, we can only work with people who are willing to take action in the world to work together with us in this way. So it's kind of like offering people love and encouragement who want, this is the way I am moving forward, who wants to move forward with me in this way. And you probably have some people in your life, whether they're adult children, family members, friends, co-workers, who work together with you in this way, in an authentic, loving way, treat people in a just and fair way, act with character and integrity. And those people are people that you're moving forward with. And as you meet new people in the world, you offer love and encouragement, and are authentic and kind of vibrant and encouraging, to see if more people want to move forward with you in that way. And some people will, some people won't. And we just need to be illuminated to the truth that if some people aren't working together with us in that way, it might be because it does cause them some mental conflict, because, this phrase that your light can irritate their demons. It challenges them, just even being around people who are more authentic and warm and loving, because they could view themselves as an authentic, warm and loving person, but maybe it's more of a facade that they wear so that people will work together with them. And then when they come around people who are more authentic and warm and loving, it's just like it causes a mental conflict, because kind of makes them deal with the truth that maybe they're not authentically who they say they are, that it maybe is more of a facade, or it can get them in their ego, in their envy, in their jealousy, and, it bothers them. And then for some of those people, they just want you to go away, because if you're not there, then it doesn't cause them mental conflict about how they live their own life, and they can go back to living their life the way they live it, with the people that are there, the people they hang out with, and there's nobody around that's any different, that challenges them to deal with some things they keep hidden in the dark. And we need to see the truth about that. Let's go see what some of these hidden cards are. There could be people in our life that we thought were more bold and brave and loving and nurturing people, and at one time they could have seemed that way. But again, there could have been, we could have harnessed these energies differently, and we didn't know that. So we can have a lot of commonality with people. We can get along with people for a long time, but when it gets to be where maybe a relationship needs to grow or mature over time, or it can just be where eventually someone's kind of more shadowy nature kind of comes out, that maybe they were hiding. But let's go look at these 4 cards. The honoring path, the loving woman, true love, courage, and kindred partnership. Well, like I say, there's people in the world that want those types of relationships just like you do. But they kind of might view it as that, like I deserve that type of relationship. Like, look at me, or look what kind of person I am, or you should love me because maybe I'm kind of looking at these pictures. These three are emotional figures. So again, emotionally, there can be a lot of things that we like about each other, but then we have two, which I assume are masculine figures with the courage and kindred partnership. Are we really operating from the same foundational level in maybe our Virgo, Aries, and Leo energy of what our long-term goals are and what drives and motivates us long-term? And how we like to function in a relationship. We could get along with people for a long time, but we could not necessarily realize that they are a little bit more about themselves. And that might not show up until we've done some of this work within ourselves. So that's how you can harness this energy differently. Some people are maybe a little more aligned with their worldly egoic nature, and they want to keep moving forward like that. The other people could be inspired in their Virgo, Aries, Leo energy to do this work within themselves when they're in relationships to keep growing to like their full potential. And they do this work within themselves to face some of their fears and insecurities, and then they free themselves from some of those issues. And when one person in a relationship changes, it changes the whole dynamic. And then while you did this work within yourself to love and believe in yourself and heal from some past pain and heartbreak, or expand your perception of yourself and the world around you, then when you were living your life that way, they hadn't done that inner work within themselves because maybe they were happy living life the way they were and they're not driven and motivated to do that yet. Maybe at some future point in time they are. Maybe they never will. But when it got to be that you've changed, and that's why sometimes people like to be in relationships with people, but they have mental conflict, maybe if the other people learn to love themselves. So, Virgo energy is represented by the Knight of Pentacles, wanting to become the King of Pentacles. Sometimes if one person in the relationship, we both could have been in Knight of Pentacles energy, one person did this work to kind of heal and grow and mature themselves to kind of go to the next phase of life, that's when people can have a problem with it because you've changed. You did do some work to love and believe and heal or grow or mature yourself. And that's sometimes when people can have a problem with it, and they could get in competitive energy with you. And they don't like that you've changed because it kind of requires the whole relationship dynamic to change. And they could have liked it the way it was. And some people, they want to go get in relationships with people who are more on that same page as them. Because maybe there would be some issues they need to work through to kind of move forward with you in that new way. And they don't want to. And they could have been thinking, aren't we going to stay in this relationship and maybe in a more shadowy, the courage card again is like Leo energy. Don't we have the same fears and insecurities and self-limiting beliefs? And that's why we're going to keep moving forward in this relationship. But if you work through some of yours, then some of that commonality could be gone. Whatever were some of your fears and insecurities and self-limiting beliefs that you could have had in common with some people, now you've freed yourself from some of those things, but they haven't. And we can't move forward in life. We can try, we can create an illusion, but we can't fake. It's hard to fake a next level of life. Like we viewed life differently, that we have changed, that we have looked at life from a higher perspective, that we have, we're not, some people like people to be in a relationship with them and view them like someone that is You could have been in relationships with some people that you could have even looked up to and admired, and you viewed them as more stable and grounded and maybe mature than you were. And maybe at a time in your life when, you know, looking for relationships, to find a relationship that with people that you enjoy being around, and then it provided this environment for you to do this work within yourself. But some people don't like it when you do that work within yourself, because now you maybe don't look to them for those things anyway the way that you used to, and they could like playing that role in people's life. And with this being like Aries Leo energy, it could have been someone presenting themselves as much more, well, they might have status and image and stuff like that, and in some ways they definitely could have been more mature or more grounded than you were. And you could have seemed like the Knight of Pentacles, and they seem more like the more mature person or stable, grounded person. And they could like being in relationships with people who are like that dynamic. Kind of like, I'm the teacher, you're the student, I'm like the parent, you're like the child. And some people like that relationship. But as you did this work within yourself, and you maybe could have thought they'd be proud of you, like, look, I have become a King of Pentacles too. Aren't you happy? I'm kind of on the same page as you. I worked through some of my issues that used to keep me more in Knight of Pentacles energy, and now we're on the same page. Now we can move forward working together cooperatively in a relationship, maybe in a more just and fair and balanced relationship, in truth and love and justice and fairness. And some of you could have thought the people in your life would be happy, but it really caused them mental conflict, because they liked it when you were like, they were the parent and you were the child, they were the teacher, you were the student. And that can happen in friendships and romantic relationships. And you know, it makes them feel a certain way about themselves to be in relationships that are like that. And then when the relationship changes, they don't really want to do that type of relationship dynamic. And they're going to go maybe find someone else to repeat that pattern of relationship dynamic with them. And we just need to see the truth of that. So I think right now, everybody's trying to have new beginnings, probably, to align with people in their life who they think are on the same page as them. Some of the shadowy people are just going to try to manipulate another person that makes them look like they're a boss in the world, like they've had a new beginning. Watch out for, you know, you all could have somebody come towards you for those reasons. I just want to go indulge. Can I get you to get in a relationship with you? I want to go have fun. I might even reject a loving relationship because I want to go indulge my more immature nature. I think the people I reject will have mental conflict about me doing it, but if this doesn't work out, then maybe I can go back to them. So we listen to our intuition about the people that we're approaching and people who approach us. I don't want to be someone you just want to come indulge in a relationship with because you're in fiery energy of indulgence. I want to be in a relationship with someone who realized that maybe they were living their life in a way that wasn't aligned with their truth, and the truth is they're more bold and brave and confident and inspired by love, and they were in a mismatched relationship. Let's go look at these 4 cards. Decrease, family, victim mentality, deserving. So if we had found ourselves doing this work within ourselves, could have realized that some of the people we were in friendships or relationships with or just within ourselves, that we needed to grow up and mature ourselves to face our fears because we want to free ourselves from some things that manipulate us, and therefore that could mean that we get out of some friendships or relationships. The high vibe people could have seen the truth that if they previously were aligning with their more worldly egoic nature, they probably got in relationships with people who were happy that they were living from their more worldly egoic nature, because the masculine figures can represent us operating more from our worldly egoic nature. And we had lessons to learn. And we could have gotten in relationships with people who were on the same page as us. Again, we've got lessons to learn. And while they were in that relationship for a long time, it could have seemed great. But there was something kind of in their listening to their intuition that called them to work through some of their fears and insecurities to align with their more hopeful, believing, loving nature. When they were in those, then they could have offered love to the people they were in to move forward with them in that way. But they could have realized that some people in their life weren't willing to do that. I look at the deserving card as like the Nine of Pentacles card, which is Virgo energy. We can realize that some of the people in our life have some of these things that manipulate them. You know, some people haven't learned to love their worldly nature. Some people want to be in relationships where they don't have to do this work within themselves, and people kind of indulge them being in their more shadowy energy, where they don't learn to love themselves, to free themselves from their more shadowy ways of being, to love themselves and work through their fears and insecurities to be independent of them. And then we can realize that some people in our life don't want us to do that either. They don't want us to grow to our full potential and free ourselves from the things that had manipulated us previously, because they might still want to be in a relationship with you, but they only want to be in a relationship with you if you keep staying in your fear and your insecurity or your pride or your ego, making your life more about the world, basically not loving and believing in yourself. And they could have things in their life that they feel kind of tied to. And maybe if some people in their life aren't willing to move forward with them in this way, they're not willing to move forward in that way. Maybe they got themselves into some relationships and they could realize it's a mismatched relationship, but, you know, we all can stay in those relationships offering love and encouragement and support to them, because we hope that people will deal with their inner issues and if they could be at that stage of life in however they're living their life. Some of the people we could know are in codependent energy. If they found someone new who's willing to kind of indulge them in that energy, and maybe some of these people that we could have reached out to, we didn't even realize, you know, you can work with people, know people, you don't know that they're in a relationship. And then when you make an offer to someone to move forward with you in this way, some of those people, it's like, oh, well, either I don't love and believe in myself, or I'm in a relationship where someone kind of indulges me in my more shadowy, even if it's fear and codependency. And in order to move forward with you, I'd have to work through all those things within myself. Some people will, some people won't. Some people are the bossy and controlling people, and they don't ever plan to change. They found someone else who hasn't learned to love and believe in themselves, might have some lessons to learn from people like this, and they found a new person to be in a relationship with to play out this role of, I'm a stable, grounded, loving, nurturing person. Your dream will come into reality with me. And they found someone new who's bought into the illusion. And until that person does this work within themselves to be illuminated to the truth, they'll keep staying in that relationship. So some people have some lessons to learn that some other people haven't learned. They could be more about themselves the world, ego, image, maybe being kind of just wanting to be in, like, some people reject being married or in a more formal commitment. They want to present themselves as loving people, so that, and stable, grounded people, so people will get in a relationship with them. But it's just like, I just love. And they just want to indulge in love, not anybody they want to hold on to. Maybe even go prey on people that they feel want to be in loving relationships. Like, perfect, I'll get in a relationship with you. You're a loving, nurturing person. You put a lot of work and effort to make relationship work. Wonderful. I'll get in a relationship with you. Do you have some lessons to learn about people like me? Well, you're going to learn some lessons about people like me. And there's always other people in the world that have some lessons to learn, that are going to get in relationships with people who could be like some people you've gotten in relationships with, or the person you last were in a relationship with, or at one time. And those people are going to learn lessons from those people too. Do I love and believe in myself? Does this person love and believe in themselves? Is this person kind of indulging themselves? Is my dream ever going to come into reality with this person? And then those people, it will be the catalyst to make them do this work within themselves, that I'm not going to stay in a relationship just because I want to be in a relationship. I'm not going to stay in it just because of the ego or the image, or because I don't want to go out there in the world and go find a new relationship, so I'm going to stay in this one. Some shadowy people count on that. I just hope if I can get them in a relationship, even if they do see the truth that I might have some of these shadowy traits and characteristics, or I'm not really willing to bring the dream into reality that they want, I'm hoping they'll give up their dream and keep working with me in a relationship, and just kind of hide behind their ego that they're in a relationship with someone, but it's really not what they thought it was going to be, but they're going to settle for the illusion. And we all have that free will choice to make. It's just that some people got in them and some people got out of them. And it's like, no, I'm not willing to stay in this. And as people are moving forward, taking action, maybe in new relationships, making offers to get in new relationships, they're listening to their intuition, knowing their worth and value about the people that they're in relationship with. And if the people in their life, or anybody they could be in a relationship with, or people who approach them, seem to be in that shadowy way, it's like, I'll get to know you to find out what the truth is. But until I find out what the truth is about what kind of drives and motivates you, I might not be willing to get in a more involved relationship with you. What's coming up for the people who harness some high vibe Virgo energy? Something to do with this card because of the Six of Cups. It takes time. Once we do get out of one situation, the Six of Cups I view it as coming to peace about the past, kind of reconciling yourself about the past, seeing the truth about the past, seeing which people have this certain pattern and way of living life that they like to live, but that's not your truth. The Six of Cups is Scorpio energy. With some people, you could realize that you harness your Scorpio energy different. Some people do just like to indulge in these kind of more immature relationships. Other people want a deep, meaningful relationship. Some people, we realize, are kind of emotionally shallow and superficial, or immature, and they're about themselves, and they've got a lot of growing up to do. So the high vibe people are going to come to peace about the past. And what's coming up for you has to do with this card that's not showing itself, which is the Three of Pentacles. So we all have lessons to learn. We all at one time could have been operating more from our more worldly nature. But as we learn lessons in life, we get more balance. Well, if we choose to, we get more balance within ourselves that from a foundation, the Six of Cups is emotional water sign energy. From a foundation of love, I'm going to offer love to my more worldly, egoic nature to work cooperatively with me from a foundation of love. So I'm not just more operating from my more worldly nature. I want these things of the world, yes, but I also want loving, nurturing, supportive, encouraging, deep, meaningful relationships with people who are, this one has children in it, so like people who are authentic, who are creative and inspired and motivated by love. And then I think as you are maintaining, the Six of Cups can talk about maintaining balance within yourself. As you do this work within yourself to reconcile yourself with the past, realizing also that you don't want to work together with people who are still more operating from their worldly nature instead of kind of being more balanced within themselves. You don't want to work with those type of people anymore. And you've reconciled yourself to that, come to peace about that, seeing the truth about people have free will to live their life whatever way they want, and we're not on the same page. And I'm ready to take action to have these new beginnings in my life. I'm no longer going to pour into people, like a more deep, meaningful relationship with people who are still in the victim mentality card, who haven't learned to love themselves, to free themselves. I'm going to go find the people in the world who have freed themselves, who have done that inner work to get in relationship with. And I think as you do this within yourself, there are going to be people that want to be in relationship with you because you are maintaining balance within yourself. You're not taking action out of pride and ego and fear and insecurity or jealousy or envy or ego or manipulation. That you are this emotionally balanced, loving person who offers people love and encouragement to love and believe in themselves. And if they do that work within themselves and are willing to take action to work together with you in this way, you will work together with them. And there will be some people who will, and there will be some people who will watch you go do this with someone else. Because either they're in an own loving relationship of their own, even though they could have at one time, or, would like to be in a relationship with you, or were in a relationship with you, they wish you peace and love because they're doing this within their own life. And other loving people hope other people find love and free themselves. But some of the people that aren't moving forward with you, it's because they are more about themselves and they know you're not willing to repeat that pattern. And you're not willing to work with them. And you're going to go find people who are. What's coming up for the people who harness a more worldly or shadowy Taurus energy that they don't see coming? The Queen of Cups, because of the Page of Cups and the Tower. So sometimes some people who are in shadowy energy, again, for some reason, I'm either full of myself or because I have these certain traits, qualities, characteristics, or assets in the world, people should want to love me. And they could be kind of immature and operating from their more unstable foundation. And they look for people who will indulge them in their more immature, unstable ways of being, like a parent would a child. And for a long time, some of you could have put work and effort into some people, trying to offer them love and encouragement to do this work within themselves, to offer love to the past, to free themselves of the past, to emotionally grow up and mature themselves. But some people are done. They also could have kind of been in codependent energy, or they could have been an overly loving person who indulged people in poor behavior. And now the people have grown and matured themselves, and they're wishing these people peace. I'm detaching from this foundation. And some of these shadowy people, male or female, who are acting kind of bossy or controlling or indulgent, but maybe weren't being more authentic and loving, or working through some issues they needed to work through. Some of the high vibe people in their life have seen the truth of it. If you were motivated and inspired to free yourself from some of these ways of being, you would have. But I see you're not. And for some people, it's the last day that they're going to present themselves as loving to people. And if those people don't want to move forward with them in that way and detach from this more immature way of repeating these patterns of the past where they're unwilling to see the truth, be illuminated to the truth of something in their foundation, the other people have done this work within themselves to emotionally heal and grow and mature themselves, and they're not going to keep indulging them anymore, and they're going to let the foundation go. And these people did not see that coming. What? You've reconciled yourself with this situation? You don't want to work together with me anymore? I thought you had mental conflict about loving and believing in yourself or believing in your dreams. It's like, yeah, but with these cards that weren't showing themselves, I was inspired, fiery energy, to do this work within myself, to love myself, believe in myself, believe that if I'm being loving and nurturing and just and fair and authentic and encouraging in relationships, I deserve to be in relationships with people who are like that. And I see that I'm in a relationship with some people who I give to them and they just let it run through their fingers. They never take that love that I offer them within their own family of self to work through their own fears and insecurities to become independent of it. And that's a free will choice. And I'm going to go find the people who will take the love and the encouragement and the resources I offer them to love and believe in themselves and free themselves from things that manipulate them. And if that's not you, it's not you. Another thing they might not see coming is there's always going to be other people who are going to want to be in a relationship with some people because something else didn't work out and they haven't learned to love themselves, and they're going to come into contact with these people to realize, oh wow, I need to get out of my codependent energy looking for someone to love me, to make me feel better, and I need to learn to love me and work on my own foundation of self to free myself so I can quit getting in relationships with people who are happy that I haven't learned some of these lessons in life, who are happy that I'm in codependent energy, or happy that I indulge people in poor behavior because I'm an overly loving person and I want to be in a relationship, but instead of waiting for people who are on the same page as me, I'll get in a relationship with someone just because I want to be maybe in a relationship. And some people did that. What happens then when we find someone who is on the same page as us? Some people right now could feel stuck in a relationship that they went and got into, that they've tried to create the illusion that this is everything they wanted, but now they've seen someone who is more on the same page as them. But we'd have to be willing to get out of our ego to illuminate the truth that, you know, I could have gotten in this relationship because I wanted to be in a relationship, or because another relationship of mine hadn't worked out, and I hadn't learned to love and believe in myself, and I wanted to feel better, so I kind of looked to relationships like some people look to booze and drugs to feel better. You know, it's one of the things we as human beings do. Are we willing to see the truth of it, deal with the truth of it, illuminate the truth of it, to live our authentic life? Or are we going to stay in something that isn't aligned with our truth, but because we're in our ego about some illusion we created about how happy and wonderful our life is, we're going to hide the fact that we're in a relationship. Either we're the one who doesn't love and believe in ourselves, Or because some people have found someone who doesn't love and believe in themselves, that person isn't going anywhere. So I'll just stay in that because I'm afraid of starting fresh and new, where I would be in a relationship with someone who challenges me to grow and heal and mature myself, and this person doesn't. So I'll stay in it, you know? So odds are the shadowy people, if you already know some people in your life that, you know, it takes time to learn lessons. I mean, if we try to change a habit in our life or quit being harsh and critical or belittling to ourselves, you know, that just doesn't happen overnight. It takes time to change habits. If you know some people that have shown you that they have some or a lot or severe aspects of these shadowy traits and characteristics, odds are they got a lot of lessons to learn, and they're going to keep repeating some patterns because they have a lot of things to break down and see the truth of. And for some of them, they'll keep refusing to see the truth. And it will be all about operating from their ego, wearing a false mask. Look at the new beginning I got into. Look how wonderful my life is. And they're just, it's kind of like people who are immature or bossy or controlling or petty or whatever at a job, and they go to get a new job. It's like, oh my gosh, look at the new job I got. Look how wonderful it is. Oh my gosh, they love me here. It's like, yeah, we'll give it some time. Because we know they didn't grow and mature and heal, and they're eventually going to be the exact same person in the next job that they were in the last job. It just, you know, they could wear a good false mask, and it can take time for people to see through the illusion, but eventually people will see through the illusion, and odds are it'll all come crumbling down because these people got some lessons to learn about tempering growing up. And some of them don't want to grow up, and some of them don't want to temper their bossy or controlling or prideful or egotistical or self-centered or just fearful, insecure, codependent, manipulative ways of being. And so they'll probably, you know, keep hiding, not dealing with their issues, thinking, I'll just go indulge in myself in these things of the world to make it look like I'm living the dream, but they're just not really operating from love, and the other people have deep, meaningful relationships that are authentic and warm and loving with people who are bold and brave enough to do love. So there you go, Virgo energy. I wish you peace, love, and joy, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.